start out by saying thank you for taking important time out of your life to get to know a little bit about me and allowing me to hear through your questions a little bit about you. I've enjoyed my contributions over the last 7 years to our community. And yes, it's an HOA. It's an HOA of almost 5,000 homes, all of the Innovation Parkway businesses that we relate to. We have 34 neighborhoods, 14 gated neighborhoods. We have a couple $1 million budget, and we've done hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of improvement over the last couple of years, and we have not taken from reserves. In a community like ours, when we have balanced budgets and a great plan and we execute according to plan, I struggle a little bit, probably because I don't understand why we still tap into reserves for items that apparently come up that are unfunded. I would need to understand that as a mayor, and I will. My goal is being part of not only improving the wonderful community we have, but making sure it's sustainable going forward. And I'll do that in ways that would be the last resort for taxes, unlike the utility tax that was put in. And there's no plan right now that I've heard to retire that temporary tax, which was also part of a contribution to getting out of the deficit. So going forward, I would just say I appreciate the opportunity for the potential of becoming your mayor. And fortunately, I'm very happy that my qualifications are determined by you voters. I think I have the qualifications, the discipline, and the experience, demonstrated experience, to make the sustainability issue off the table. Thank you. Vote for Pat Stringy, mayor.
Thank you. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Governing by itself is very difficult to do. Effective governing in this last 4 years has almost been impossible to do, yet we did it. You know, you hear up here and you hear in the media about how much discourse there is on council. Well, I can tell you, the civility, it's for a large part of it, there is less than a 15% differential on a split vote, which means 85% or higher, roughly, has been 5-2, 6-1, or 7-0. I'm not going to challenge anybody's love for this community because I think we all have equal love for the community. But this is not about a popularity contest. You need serious people who have a strategy and who have a plan. Don Bristow on council says his plan is that not to cater to special interest groups. Well, businesses are special interest groups. 2/3, actually 1/3 of that revenue is basically coming from sales tax on an outsider. 32 cents on your dollar. My plan again is to increase that to 45, 48, 49, 50 cents on the dollar. So if you bite the hand that feeds you, what do you have left? There are no other revenue sources. Pat Straney talks about expenses. He talks about efficiencies. He talks about looking at other revenue sources. He talks about creating a strategy. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We did that in 2010. So the basic premise through Pat Straney is that those things haven't been taken a look at. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And he talks about being a HOA board president. I can tell you as mayor of the town of Oro Valley, it's not even remotely close. If you like where you are now and want to continue the progress without burdening you, vote me for higher math, vote Joe Hornet, vote Mary Snyder, and vote Lou Waters. Thank you.
Far too often in our politics today, election officials seem to rapidly forget that they are representing the constituents, not the special interests. I'm not implying that anyone on town council isn't dedicated to their constituents, but there is a discord and lack of civility that's obvious in our council, and the meetings show that. I would bring mutual respect for the members of the council. I may disagree, but I will not disrespect or attack fellow council members in public or in the media. I'm not aligned with any group on the current council, and my only special interest, again, is the citizens of Oro Valley. Therefore, I can stabilize and encourage civility, cooperation, and teamwork on the council. In only 2 years, the financial stability of the town begins to decline with the reduced revenues in construction taxes. And this will continue unless we start to do proper financial long-term planning. And that includes looking at how we spend our money today and the ongoing costs that are associated with those. It's one thing to build a park, it's another thing to keep it going and maintain it. It can be significant money. Do our plans, we don't even have a plan for the park at the moment, let alone that included in it. And I will work to ensure that we have financial stability in Oro Valley for the long term. Diane, my wife, and I, we love Oro Valley. The town was designed by the citizens, and the citizens voted on a general plan for its direction. I will see if these guidelines in the general plan are adhered to along with the town codes and ordinances when making decisions. All the stakeholders should have input, but I believe the citizens have to be number one in that input.
Oro Valley is in great shape. We've gotten into great shape. We've provided all of our core services through the recession. You've heard it all. I agree with all that's been said about that. Going from deficit to surplus with no property tax during a recession is quite a remarkable task. And we've done that with a lot of help from realigning ourselves to a new town management. Greg Caton, a brilliant young man with experience from Colorado, came in and helped us, work with us. And we designed this plan, and it is a plan, and it continues. And the 5-year forecast, if you look at it, and it's been issued by the town. There's a graph on the table outside where I was scheduled, if you care to look at it. It shows not only revenue and expenses tied together very tightly through the out years and a slowly rising contingency fund. When we came in at 2010, the expenses were going up, revenues were going down, and in the out years, the contingency fund was going down. So everything that we've done, all of these things which make Oro Valley in such great shape today, we're done with the intention of balancing that out. It is untrue that the out years are not adequately handled by the fluctuations in the economy and fluctuations in the building going on. There are contingencies. Greg Caton has them all laid out. If you'd like to call them up, I'm sure he'll take your call to tell you individually how we do that. But trust me, we've got it tightly wound. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a list here of all my accomplishments, and it's on my website. But I think the most important thing that I want to say this evening about that is, and it's just a quote from my website, no one person on council does these things alone. But the important thing is to be part of the significant progress that Oro Valley has made. And I am proud of that. I got a call from a reporter several weeks ago and asked me what were my top 3 things that I was proudest of. I gave him 6. I said, pick 3. But then he asked me a question that floored me. He said, what are you not proud of? And if you're a human being, you tend to dwell on some of the things, the mistakes you've made in your life. Don't stay awake at night. It's the stock tip you missed, the car you shouldn't have sold because it's now valuable, the house if you have hung on to, they'd have paid you in another year, double what it was worth. Well, when I look back on the things that we've done in Oro Valley, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't. And I think that's a big deal. When you can look back on your life for the last 4 years and say, I don't think I've made any mistakes in the town. I will tell you that the Senior Living Center there on Lambert, when they painted it white before they painted it, caused me some shock because it was so obvious. But it's been painted in the colors that are important, that are part of the town code, and it's just fit in. I'm engaged in the community. My wife will attest to this. I am, I don't know what the word is, not overwhelmed, but at least I'm so impassioned about the things we've done. It's become more than I ever thought it would be, and I enjoy it. I think I'm relatively good at it. I listen fairly well, except at home. And I'll end with my wife, kill me, vote your hornet. Thank you.
Thank you for sitting here and listening to all of us this afternoon. It's really great and a great testament to your patience to hear us. You've heard me say how proud I am that we have come through this financial downturn, and we are in such great shape. I have to take exception very pleasantly and respectfully to the thoughts that have been presented that the town needs financial discipline. It needs better planning. We need smarter use of our money. If we haven't done that in the past 4 years and brought us through, I don't know what you would bring to the table. We have already demonstrated those skills. We have employed those skills. In terms of the downturn in construction revenues and how that might adversely affect the town, our town manager and his executive staff have got that covered. We don't use construction tax revenues for ongoing expenses. One of the best structural things we've done in the town is we use ongoing revenues for ongoing expenses, one-time revenues for one-time expenses. And what that means is if construction revenues and these one-time revenues start to drop off, well, that's what we fund our capital improvement plan with. And if they start to fund off, we stop the capital improvement plan. It's as simple as that. You have a council that does very wise planning. We listen to the residents. I'm a resident. I live here. I live here for many of the same reasons you do. I want a nice place to live. I want it to be safe. I want to be proud of where I live. And I don't want to be worrying about whether or not we can afford to deliver services because we can. We are very sound financially planned for the next 5 years. You look much beyond that, it's anybody's game. But we actually have a 15-year plan too. Thank you.